uh, I've been making these videos, man, and it's funny because I made a video and I really thought I explained myself really well because somebody made a comment on one of my videos, and so I commented back and I made a video to it, and so I was just like, and when I saw the video, some people had said they don't like the video, and I'd be like, okay, maybe I said maybe I didn't explain myself well enough for them to get my point, really, you know what I mean? And I was like, maybe I'm gonna make another video. But people got the right, they got the right to their opinion. And I'd be like, well, maybe I ain't explained myself thoroughly enough, But so I just made another video. Um, I'm gonna tell a little bit about myself, man. I love black people, man. I do. I love black people, man. Uh, I do. Um, I was born and raised in the Show Me State, but I moved to Washington D.C., the Chocolate City, just because I went up there one time to visit. Like I had a friend that lived there. He asked me to come visit, and I went and visit. I went to visit the D.C. and man, black people everywhere, man. Black people everywhere, boy. And going to businesses, all black people. Business, I seen every type of black person, from the business suit to the hood. This man, I was like, boy, I love it up here. Like a year or two later, man, that's where I live. I went moved up there, all because of the black people, and I loved it. I never regretted going to DC. I loved it, boy. It was black people everywhere. Dude told me when you get on the train, he was like, oh, when you get on the train, he said, if you start seeing a bunch of white people getting on, you're going the wrong direction. You see a bunch of black people getting on, you're going the right way. So, man, I love black people. Love them. Matter of fact, I lived in DC and then I moved to Alaska. And Alaska is white. It is where I was at was mostly white people. White people. I told people I was like, Alaska is white on the map. It is white. So can you imagine going from, and I had never been around white people like that. I had never been around that many white people like that, and just been around them like that. Working with them and going to the store with them. I hadn't been. I wasn't used to that, and it was like my first experience just being surrounded by white people, and they treated me cool because I'm married to a black woman, and so they treated me cool. But I had heard that some other black people that I met up there, they were saying, like, I mean, one dude, he said he was a black dude from California, and he was going with a white girl, and he said he had to deal with prejudice a lot. People being prejudiced because he was with a white girl, and this nigga looked like Mr. Universe, super, just cut up big, looked like Mr. Universe, and but I didn't have to deal with that. I guess because I was married to a black woman, nobody wasn't tripping. People treated us kind of cool, but I still, I mean, trust people as far as I can throw them, man. Mm. I'm still cautious, whatever. And can you imagine going from DC to White Alaska, and then I stayed in Alaska for 3 years, and when I went back to DC, I couldn't wait to get back to DC, man. Couldn't wait to get back to DC. DC had become my home, even though I was born and raised in Show Me State. DC had become like my home. It's where I was grown at, you know. I probably went there when I was like 19 or 20, and that's where I made my life at. That's I began to talk like that. I talk like I come from DC. I use they slangs. I I loved it. And one thing happened to me when I went to DC and I got back home to DC. Something happened to my body. Like I saw a lot of black people. Like I went back to my neighborhoods and places where because my mother, my family moved up there with me too. Like first I moved there and I stayed there for 2 or 3 years maybe, and then my family moved up, and my mother, my brothers and sisters, they moved up there too. And so when I was going to see my brothers and sisters, I would go back to the neighborhoods that I hadn't seen for 3 years, and something happened to my body. Like it's something that happened. It's so fast, but you got to really pay attention to it. Like, and I, it happens. It's something that happens to me when I see a bunch of black people. It's like, it fills me and satisfies me like food, like drinking some water when you real thirsty. Like I can't explain it, but it happened to my body physically. And I was wondering, what is that? I was tripping because I was like, man, am I prejudiced or something? Like I said, shouldn't that happen for human beings? Like I should not feel like that about everybody. Why do I just feel like that just about black people? And I thought, am I Americanized? Is that segregation? I didn't know what it was. So I remember I went and I asked this psychiatrist. I was like, something happened to me physically. Like I was like, I felt something. Like I said, when I got back home and I went into them neighborhoods and I saw lots of black people, I felt something happen to my body, like it was satisfying. And he said the only thing that he could relate that to was it's because my family is black. He said your mother, your sister, that's what you were raised around. He said, and so that's why something happens to you. It's like you feel some form of satisfaction. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. That's crazy. I said, now I guess if you was up on the moon and you ain't seen people for nobody for years, it probably wouldn't make a difference what color the individual was that you saw. Just the fact that you would be glad to see another human being. But man, I was glad to see black people, man. I was. Something happened to my body. So I love black people. Um, and I'll support black things. I'll support businesses in my neighborhood. I try to go to a black company first. I'll go eat some food at a black place first. I won't go to a place sometime. If I go in a place ain't no black people work there, I don't want to be in there. I won't go sometime. I go in a place, but like, I ain't got no black people in here, man. I try not to be too trip about it too much, but it bothers me, man. Like you go in a place, I mean, I ain't going to them Chinese places, man. I'll be like, man, no black people up in here, man. Now I don't do that with everything, but it bothers me when I go in a place and I be like, man, Chinese people on this place, ain't got no black people up in here. Not in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, it bothers me a little bit. But I'm gonna tell you one thing I'm not gonna do. If you came to this channel and you think you're gonna come in and you trying to see me and you think I came here to pacify people, I'm not gonna do that. I am not going. I'm not going to pacify people. I'm not. Uh, a lot of times that's what my sister said. She said a lot of times that's why people don't like to talk to me. She said because you don't pacify people. She said people come to you and try to and talk to you, and you go in on them. And I'd be like, well, man, I can't help that. You know, I can't deal with all the other stuff. Uh, I'm just not. I'm not like that, man. I you know I think people spend too much time trying to blame everybody and not taking no personal responsibility for the situation that they find themselves in. Like people who done got scammed say, "Oh, I got scammed by Brother Polite," and then when I come at them and say, and I come at them and be like, "Well, what did you do in order for that to happen to you?" Then people look at you like, "Oh, that's messed up. Nah, nigga, this nigga's a scam artist, and you gonna say so I was wrong, nigga?" Or I'd be like, well, check this out. I'd be like, "You're gonna go on YouTube. You're gonna listen to people. You don't know if these people are scam artists because you don't know none of these people. So listen to people, find value in what they say, but be careful when you spend your money." Like, how simple can I make that? You don't know when you first hear somebody if they a scam artist or not. But your first stand should be caution because they could be. So a part of me is like, well, I'm gonna come at you. And that's all I know how to do. And if you want me to do something else, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be, oh, I'm so sorry you got scammed, and oh, the hell with scammers. Let's start a campaign against scammers. Let's be against scammers. Nah, I'm gonna talk to you personally. You come to me and I'm gonna be like, so how did it happen? And what happened? Well, I did this, I did that, I did this. I'm be like, well, you probably should have did this. I ain't trying to deal with what happened yesterday. Not for real. I hear you and listen to you, but the thing I'm trying to concentrate on is what do we do today so that don't happen tomorrow. I mean, I can't get no more simple than that. And anybody who say they don't like that kind of reasoning, they just gotta be dumb, man. A mug, man. You just gotta be dumb. You have to be, because that's good, practical reasoning. It take energy to blame everybody. Some people want to blame the police, the cops, the whites, their mama, their daddy, their environment. I'm sure all those things do have those things do. I ain't gonna say sure. I'm sure they do have an effect on how we act and what we do. But those are just challenges that we can overcome, man. We can. Now, sometimes somebody who has overcome those things try to come to you and be like, "Well, this is what you got to do to overcome that." Sometimes people don't want to hear that, and sometimes that's majority of black people. Sometimes that's what I find. A lot of black people, a lot of black people want to be pacified. They want you to, yeah, that's right, it's right. They wrong, they wrong, they wrong, and we know they wrong. So what's the solution? So we don't have to deal with that again. That's just where I'm at. I'm just not a. When you spend so much time blaming people, and it takes energy to do that. When you spend so much time blaming people and, and holding grudges and being angry and arguing, when you spend so much energy doing that, what you do is then you don't have enough energy to find a solution to the problem and then execute the steps necessary to bring that solution to a reality. Because you don't have the energy. You don't wasted it all on arguing and trying to be pacified. And I'm not just one of them type people. I'm not a why person. I'm just not. Because I find that in women a lot. Women. And they get mad at me. Oh, they do, boy. The women get mad at me. Women in my family sometimes, like cousins and stuff like that, they'll try to talk to me. And I'm just not a why person. People come to me and they just, oh, my man, he beats me. Oh, he cheats on me. And I'll sit and listen to you. And I'll be like, dang, that's messed up. Dang, he do that? Dang, that's messed up. Dang. And then you want to ask me, because they think I'm intelligent, they want to ask me, why you think he do that? I don't know. I can give you some different reasons, but I don't know why he does it. Why do you deal with it? Let's try to talk about that. Because he ain't here. We could talk about you. Why you deal with that? But they don't like that. They don't like that. I'd be like, there's only two things you can do. You can deal with it, or you can move away from it. That's it. Now, if you want to tell me, I'll tell you how to deal with it. Brace yourself. Brace yourself for the smacks. Uh, do some push-ups and tighten your stomach up. But if you want to deal with how to get out the situation, then we can talk about that because we can find some solutions. There's some non-violent solutions, and if a person you feel like that an individual won't get it if you do a non-violent, then there are some violent solutions to make a nigga understand that you don't want to deal with this situation no more. And when you want to talk that way, then I can help you do that. Because I'm a how person. If a building fall, I don't give a damn why it fell. I just want to know, how do I get up out these bricks? How do I get up out of here and keep living? How do I keep living and survive? That's all I want to know. And then once I get out of the situation and I'm safe again, then I can sit back and be like, boy, why in the world did the building fall? You know what I mean? Then I can sit down and ask why. People just they love that though. Let's just talk about why. Let's argue and blame and point. I'm more of just a how. Like, how do we not? If you come to me and say, man, I got scammed, I'm gonna be like, damn, what happened? What happened? Oh, I did this, I did that, I did this. I'll be like, well, probably you shouldn't have did this, man. That's how he got you. So next time, don't do that. Okay? He probably got you because you didn't do no research. And that's how I deal with anybody. So when people say, "Oh, I got scammed by Brother Polite," I'll be like, "Well, he got you this way. This is how he got you." So next time you're on YouTube, listen to people. If they got something good to say, listen to it. But when it's time to send that paper off, check a nigga out. That's all I'm saying. And if you can't understand that, boy, that's real than the mug. I can't. I'm sorry that you super emotional and you don't have no practical way of practical vision. I'm sorry. But if you came to get pacified, then you might as well not look at this channel, because that ain't what I'm about, man. I'm about finding solutions to the problem. How do we find a solution? What's the solution to the problem? What is it that we do to avoid this situation from happening again? How do we tell others so that it don't happen to them? And then what do we do to execute some steps to move away from this? Because what were you trying to do? What were you trying to accomplish? Evidently, you was trying to accomplish something when you got scammed. So let's figure out what we can do so that don't happen again, and we can move on and do some even better things to become even more successful. So we don't even put ourselves in that kind of situation where we might be desperate and we get played like that. That's me, man. I don't know how I can explain it any simpler than that. If you what else you want, you know. So people need to just stop tripping and stop wasting their energy, man. Um, we do have some challenges as black people. We do. But I believe the greatest challenge that an individual has to overcome is themselves. And because if you can overcome yourself, then you won't deal a lot of problems won't even seem like problems. And I mean, I used to be a person like that. I used to blame my father. I blame my mother. I blame my environment. I blame the school system. I blame everybody, man. But you know what? I realize it's not. All those people did contribute to some of the issues and problems that I had. But while I was wasting my time on dealing with that, I wasn't looking for the solution to on how I could overcome it. Realizing that the power to overcome it was always within me. So rather than wasting my time on all of that, I could have just did what was necessary to study and overcome those issues and problems. And then once I had a better quality of life, I could sit down and go, dang, I wonder why they did that. I wonder why that happened. I wonder why my father liked that. Because then I could sit down and look at the situation without a lot of emotion, because I done took myself out of the situation. You know, it is like that in life. I mean, a lot of people put things on you, or people might scam you. We cannot erase the scammers. There are thousands of them, thousands of scammers. We cannot erase the abusers, but we can come together. You're not, so you're always going to be listening to somebody that may be an abuser. You're always going to be listening to somebody that, you know, some of the scammers, they talk smooth in the mug, man. So what I'm telling people is some of the scammers talk so smooth, they become president of the United States. So what I'm telling people is enjoy the smoothness, but don't believe the hype. I mean, I can't put it no more simpler than that.